Hello, everyone, and welcome to Revival Fire Online. I am Apostle Marsha, Pedro, saying, welcome, welcome. Let's see who's in the house today. Kieran Diet, welcome, welcome. I am not seeing anyone else. But if you are on, just say hi, hello, welcome, welcome, Jimmy Sweet Right, to this evening's, today's broadcast. If you are on Facebook, you can go ahead and like and share this video. I'm speaking about speaking into your next season, and we're about to hit another season. And for the next couple of weeks, the next 4 weeks, actually, the next 3 weeks, I'm going to speak about your next season. So this is something that I believe you would want to hear. This is something that I believe would help us. Good evening, Kim Land. Good evening, Mr. and Mrs. Walcott. Lisa, hi. Hi, Renetta. Hi, Jim must be right. You're here. You're here. It's good to see you. Joy, almost happy birthday. Joy is here. Hint, hint. And just go ahead and like and share. If you are on YouTube, why don't you go ahead and subscribe to our channel? Because we upload new content every single week. You can just press that notification button and you will get a notification of all our new content. Speaking into your next season, let's take our temperature. How many of you are excited about that next season? I know I'll get many thumbs up and I'll get many yeses, but how many of you are cautious about your next season? How many of you are scared about your next season? How many of you are sad about your next season? Everyone is welcome on this broadcast, and especially for the next 3 weeks, for the entire month of March, as we prepare into our next season, into the next quarter of 2025. You know, we are already at the end of the first quarter of 2025. We're in the third month. We're in the third month of 2025, and we've already established some things. Yeah, Crystal is ready. Kieran is ready. Kadisha, how are you? You are ready. We've already established some things for 2025, that 2025 is going to be that time for accelerated growth and double opportunity. Yeah, accelerated growth and double opportunity. We see Kathy Ann is here, Rachel is on this evening. Accelerated growth and double opportunity, double, double. So we're going to grow and the number of opportunities are going to be doubled. And there's some things, and I'm going to hit the ground running this evening on this broadcast. So if you are on late, please go back to the beginning. Hi, Lola. If you are on late, please go back to the beginning. Because we need to because we need to get it from the top, right? So let's go. There are some things that I ask myself as a form of self-assessment. I ask myself, Marsha, Pedro, assess yourself to gauge my position, to gauge my posture, and to measure my progression. So there are some things we need to ask ourselves for our position as far as we are in 2025. What's my position? What's my posture? And what is my progression? And at and a special time marks in my journey, I stop and I ask myself questions. And we all do that. At some time, we're in a relationship, we're in a covenant, we're in a job, we're in a marriage, we're saving money. You stop and you ask yourself certain questions. So I really want you to introspect and take these questions, ask yourself these questions. Where am I at with respect to the proximity or to the completion of or the where am I at with respect to proximity of completion or achievement of the assignment I was given for this quarter? Where am I at? Or even this year? How close am I at to completion, or how close am I at to achieving my goals for this year of 2025, or this first quarter of 2025? And next thing I want you to ask yourself is, what have I done to make the necessary adjustments for the next season. That's big. Listen, that is big. Joviana is on. That's big. That is big. What have I done to make the necessary adjustments for the next season? You see, have I made the adjustment and if you said yes, you've done things, let's talk about the adjustments for the next season. I told you I was hitting the ground running. Have I made the adjustments a part of my life, or are they forced because I want to see results? Have I made the adjustments to get to my goal or to get to my assignment? Have I made these things a part of my life? Or are they forced because I want to see results? Adjustments that are learned and embraced become habits. Adjustments that are learned and embraced become habits. But changes that are made for reward are short lived and will not take you the distance. Changes that are made for just for a reward, changing something just for a reward, they're short lived and they will not take you the distance. In this, the first quarter of 2025, I want to tell you, make habits. Don't merely make adjustments to see results. You see, let me give you an example of what I'm trying to say this evening, okay? I have slacked off on my water consumption. Some of you may or may not know, but I know that I've slacked off on my water consumption. And consequently, I've been tired, I've been nauseous at times because why? I have been dehydrated at times. And this has resulted in the adverse reactions, on your scalp, on your skin, your scalp, your stomach, all those things. And here's what I decided. What I decided to do instead of making the changes to just see results, I've decided to embrace a habit. I've decided to embrace the practice of water consumption and keep a mental note of how much I drink daily. I don't drink enough water to fix the problem, but I've embraced the habit as part of my lifestyle. So too, we must embrace changes and form habits for 2025. So, what habit have you formed for your next season? And I'm really today. I'm just laying some good foundation on your next season. I'm excited for my next season. Listen, let me see some emojis. Let me see if you are excited. I know Kathy Ann is excited. I am excited and ready for my next season. So you ask yourself certain questions. Where am I with respect to the completion or the achievement of the assignment I was given? What have I done to make the necessary adjustments for the season? Another thing you ask yourself, do I have the tools, the resources, and training for the next phase of my journey? Do I have the tools, the resources, and training for the next phase of my journey? Let's talk about let's bring scripture in here right now. In the book of Ecclesiastes, it was written to share wisdom and show how every success in life is inevitably from God and a God-centered life. Every success in life is inevitably from God and living a God-centered life. And we know the scripture in Ecclesiastes 3:1. To everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Therefore, we must understand that life is dynamic and change is inevitable. I know there are many people who do not like change. In this instance, it's fortunate that I love change. But I know some people do not like change, and nothing is wrong with that. Nothing is wrong with that, but you need to be prepared for change. Therefore, we must understand that life is dynamic, it's always changing, and change is inevitable. Are we really ready for our next? I paused. Are we really ready for our next? Let's establish some things about your next right now, today. I want to establish some things, and I may repeat some things in the next over the next 3 weeks, or the next 2 weeks, I believe, over the next 2 weeks. But let me establish some things about your next. Listen, I'm excited. I'm sorry for asking all the time, but I am excited. Your next, let me tell you some things about your next. Your next is a place you are supposed to be promoted into because of God's destiny plan for your life. That's your next. When I say your next season is a place you are supposed to be promoted into because of God's destiny plan for your life. Your next is as a result of the voices you align with and the choices you make in the now. So the now affects your next. Your next is as a result of the voices you align with and the choices you make in the now. Your next on God's timeline is not an automatic transition. Now we're getting serious. Your next on God's timeline is not an automatic transition. You can make choices and find yourselves in a place that God did not ordain. That's important. You can make choices and find yourself in a place that God just didn't ordain. Your next is a sign of growth, not a place of glamour. Your next is a sign of growth, not a place of glamour. Many mistake the lights of the stage for the light that comes with God's wisdom. I'm going to repeat that. Many mistake the lights of the stage for the light that comes with God's wisdom. Stage lights highlight the performer. Wisdom highlights the creator. Stage lights, they highlight the performer. Wisdom highlights the creator. Nothing is wrong with the stage and lights that may come, but you need to take a soberness test to ask yourself, is this really your next? You need to take a soberness test and you need to ask yourself, is this really my next? Let me give you a few questions that you need to ask yourself in the soberness test. One of the questions is, I hope you're getting something, and I'm going to just, I hope you are getting something here. Here's a question you ask yourself. When the curtains come down, when I am alone, does my heart light up in God's presence? That's a question you ask yourself. When the curtains come down and I am all alone, does my heart light up in God's presence? Another question you need to ask yourself, and again, it's a soberness test to tell you, hey, am I sober or am I puffed up with pride? Am I settled? Am I focused on God? Am I aligned with God, or am I puffed up in pride? Another question you ask yourself is, if my name isn't accentuated with my stage title, do I become aggravated and feel depreciated? Again, if my name isn't accentuated with my stage title, if they don't call me Apostle Marsha, if they don't call me Mrs. Pedro, do I become aggravated and feel depreciated? Again, a soberness test. Another question is, am I consistent in my demonstration of Him on and off stage? Or in my case, on and off the camera. Am I consistent in my demonstration of Him? Am I consistent? And the last thing in the soberness test that you ask yourself, am I willing to die and self-deny to get to the next place on destiny's timeline? Am I willing to die and self-deny to get to the next place on destiny's timeline, even if it means working behind the scenes? You see, there are many people who want to work in front of the camera. There are many people who want to work at the head of the org structure. We all want to be the manager, but am I willing to die and self-deny to get to the next place on destiny's timeline? So that's your next. I spoke to you about your next. That's your next. Now that I've established your next, I want to highlight the importance of speech and speaking. Speech and speaking is really important. And many times we speak death and defeat instead of life and success. Into your next season, you cannot afford to speak death and defeat. You need to speak life and success. I want you to come out of cycles and I want you to step into seasons. Come on. How many of you want to step into a new season? I want to step into a new season. Let me see you in the comments. I want to step into a new season. If it's too much, new season. Listen, we are speaking new season. If you are in your cars, listen. If you are in your bedrooms, you are in your living rooms. I know many of you are watching on YouTube. New season. Literally, if you can step into a new place, your new season. So I want you to come out of cycles and step into seasons. And therefore, I really want to dissect this subject as extensively as heaven gives my mind the strategy to dismantle the project, the subject. There are few reasons for negative speech. There are few reasons for negative speech. And I have the assignment of identifying them for you, and you have the responsibility of dismantling them. So my assignment is to identify as God gives me the strategy. Your assignment, your responsibility is to dismantle them in your life. So here are some of the reasons why we consistently use negative speech and speak death instead of life. Here's one. You have not left the past in the last season. You have not left the past in the last. Therefore, you expect the next to be a tragedy. You've not left the past in the last. Therefore, you expect the next to be a tragedy. You have not reconciled with the last and elevated God from your surface level to his sovereign status. You see, what happens is that we look at God like, hey, God, why didn't you fix me up? And we somehow think we are allowed to be angry at God. And we somehow think that God is on our level. But what needs to happen is we need to reconcile with the last season, make peace, as some of us would say. We need to settle things with the last season. And what we need to do is we need to raise God from our level to his level of sovereignty. Raising God to sovereignty means we see him as the one who has allowed everything to happen. We see him as the one who controls everything, and we give over control to him. So if we see God as sovereign, then we will not see adversity as suffering. Hey, is someone hearing this? If we see God as sovereign, we will not see stress. We will not see adversity. We will not see that flat tire. I don't know who got a flat tire. We will not see that flat tire. We will not see that quarrelsome husband or wife. We will not see that mean boss who doesn't want to give us Ash Wednesday off. Ooh, did I say that? We would not see that as adversity, but we would see it as strength training. We will see it as strength training. Another reason why we speak negatively and we would see our season negatively is you did not stay long enough to heal in the last season because you wanted to reel back into your place of isolation and the comfort of self-pity. You did not stay long enough in your last season because you wanted to reel back into your place of isolation and the comfort of self-pity. A sign of being healed, and here's this. Many people say, how do I know if I'm healed? We come to the prophet. No, you don't come to the prophet. I know if I'm healed. Today I attempted an exercise that was weight bearing on my right ankle, partially weight bearing on my right ankle. And I did feel the effects of it, so therefore I know I'm not fully healed in that right ankle. That's all. I can tell you if it's healed. So, as a result of that, I will do things that will not put pressure on the right ankle until it's fully healed. How do we know that we are fully healed? A sign of being healed is the testimony of God revealed in the midst of your suffering. If you are healed while you are suffering, God is going to be revealed. If you are healed while you are suffering, God is going to be revealed. I just want you to remember the third man in the fire with the Hebrew boys. Remember, they were in the fire, but there was the fourth man in the fire with the Hebrew boys. There was someone else with them in the fire. Amidst the persecution, there was a revelation of his deity. Amidst the persecution, there was a revelation of his divine status. While Stephen was being stoned, there was the presence of the rock, that is Christ the rock, that he held and took comfort. So in the midst of your persecution, you will know that you are healed because your testimony is of God and not of your suffering. So one of the reasons why we speak negatively into our season and where we do not look forward into our next season is because we did not stay long enough to heal and we're not healed. So if you did not stay long enough to heal and you are not healed, then you should probably stay a little longer. And the last reason I have why we would see our last season as negatively, would speak negatively into the next season, is because you were taught to think the worst of, you were taught that that thing is terrible. You were taught to think the worst so that you could protect yourself. If I think I'm going to win the race, and I don't win the race, I'll be rejected. So I will protect myself and think I may come last. If I think I cannot walk on my ankle and I cannot put pain, I will never even try to put pain. So I will just sit there. Do you understand? So we were pre-programmed to think the worst of things because the last time we were hurt. There are many families and there are many situations generationally where negativity has come to speak into your next season. What happens? You don't step into a season, you continue a cycle. But God is saying, let's speak positively into our next season. So let's talk about our words now. Let's talk about our words. Our words are potent. Our words are powerful. Let's talk about our words and speaking into the next season. In the next season, your communication will be very important. First, you must speak it and clear the path. Secondly, you must speak it and gather influence. And thirdly, you must speak it and establish it. So first, we will speak and clear the path. So right now, I'm clearing the path into my next season. I am speaking that this will arise. I am speaking favor. I am speaking. So we're going to speak and clear the path. Secondly, I'm going to speak and I'm going to get favor. I'm going to speak and I'm going to get favor. I'm going to speak and I'm going to get opportunities. And thirdly, when I get opportunities, when I get favor and I get to that place and I finally speak, I'm going to establish the kingdom. I'm going to establish the kingdom. You know, we must be able to say the right things to the right people at the right time. That's important. The right things to the right people at the right time. As a child, I have had so much regret of saying the wrong things at the wrong time. As a young adult, I decided to shut up. Sorry, as a teenager, I decided to shut up. And as a young adult, the shut up was further sealed. So I said the wrong things at the wrong time. I shut up, and then the shut up was sealed. But I thank God that in this time and this season, He has given me the wisdom to say the right things to the right people at the right time. You see, I've often ministered to people the heart of God about their own lives, and the people have wept. And I say, God, why did these people cry? Why are they crying? And God said to me, He said, people are not used to hearing good things about themselves. People are not used to hearing good things because they do not think good things about their next. They do not think good things about their next season. Yet today I stepped out, I did my exercise, I did 5 sets, and I said, okay, I have my little pain. Bless God, I'm going to relax. I'm going to do some icing and stuff tonight. But I felt my perspective was I actually came, I did a thing, I made an assessment, and now I know how to move forward. I could have said, I'm never going to step on my leg again. It's never going to get healed. It's been more than a year. I could have said that, but I did not. I spoke positively. And the next time I'm going to continue. And the next time I can again, I will continue until it's done. So we need to start having positive language and speaking positively into our next season. You see, for the giants in the land in the next season, we will have to reconstruct our atmosphere with the words that we speak. And I'm having a retreat at the end of the month in Tobago. And if you're from Tobago and you're listening on now, we're having a retreat on shifting atmospheres. There will be an atmospheric shift, and you can go to our Facebook page and you'll see about it. But the giants in the land in the next season, here's the tool, here's the thing that we need, here's the device. We need to speak and reconstruct our atmosphere with the words. We will have to literally say things before we see it. Say things before we see it. And let's talk about communication a little bit. And I'm going to share some things with you. Communication is the process of sending and receiving messages through verbal or non-verbal means. And people think that when they do not speak, they do not send a message. That's so wrong. Communication is done through verbal and non-verbal means. And this includes speech or oral communication, written and graphical representations, and behavior. Behavior. More simply, communication is said to be the creation and exchange of meaning. Let me give you some dynamics of your speaking and your communication in this next season. And I know this is something I would have shared before, but every word is pertinent in the time that is necessary, and is necessary again. Your communication network will be the sum total of your net worth. That sound and that statement has been magnified in my life. Your communication network will be the sum total of your net worth, your ability to communicate and network, the methods that you use. I know that we have moved into an era of digital everything, everything. All businesses need a good communication system to survive. All. Whether you are receiving businesses or making restock orders, you need a good communication network. So too, in the next season, we need to develop that network of trusted people that we can say things to in order to create and shift an atmosphere. We need to have that good communication network of people to speak it to. And I'll just share some of these things that some of the people that we need in the next season. And again, I would have said it before, but I want you to take this now and really apply it to your life, because I'm doing this right now. Because God has restructured and reconstructed the roles of people in my life. And He has been teaching me how to say what to whom and when. Notice I said how to say what to whom and when. You need to know when you can share information, to whom you can share the information, and what type of information you can share in the next season. You need to know when to say, what to say, and to whom to say. There'll be people on different levels, and I'm going to share this with you. There's the first person is the sage. The sage. I'm not speaking of the plant, you all know that. The sage is an aromatic plant, but the sage is also used to describe people who are wise and have a reputation for making good decisions. I have seen many people unilaterally made decisions to mash up, to 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 curse their next season. I have seen many people by themselves make decisions to affect their marriages. I have seen many people by themselves make decisions to cause a deficit in their finances for the next season of their life. The sage is a person who is wise and have a reputation of making good decisions. Please. The person will listen to your issues and they will advise you based on their life's journey or their experiences. It is important that we have people who have been there to tell us how to respond, not react. Respond. I want to remind you of the young prophet Samuel. He was under the tutelage of Eli, who told him how to respond to the voice of God. So we must have that person who does our check-ins, who we make our appointments, and we speak and we get advice. So that's the sage. We are speaking. Who are we speaking to? What are we speaking to? What are we telling them? And when are we communicating? The sage. The next person that I have here is the confidant. The confidant. The confidant is that one person who is versed in the art of listening. The confidant will not judge you. Listen, I've deleted some people from my communication list or the type of communication I have with them because they do not qualify to be my confidant. One, they may have been versed in the art of listening, but they were not good with the art of not judging. Please do not expect a confidant to give you any advice because they are not necessarily more experienced than you are. We have confidence, and when they don't give us advice, we become angry. Don't. They are an avenue for you to express yourself and feel free. I've noticed that many of us tend to bottle up much about our lives, and the enemy uses it to taunt us. What is not shared with a trusted person is coming to taunt you. It is coming to taunt you. Safe spaces and confidence are necessary so that we can let it out. We can speak it out. I've also noticed that when I speak out some things, I hear myself and I'm able to get clarity in thought. So we're speaking about speaking into your next season. You need to establish these people, identify and establish these people now in this time. The next person I have is the wingman. Your vision is not given for you to execute alone. And as a matter of fact, I've brought on a few others who would do the person who does stuff with me. I can't do it all by myself. It was given for you to execute with community for community. The vision was given to execute with community for community. That's important. Let me share this. I grew in Christianity with many spiritual deficiencies. I believe that God wanted to teach me how to depend on Him and learn from Him. I also believe that He wanted me to learn how to love His people. Although I grew with spiritual deficiencies, I try to support the lives of those around me. Your wingman is the person who helps support your vision. Help support your vision. This week, God gave me a vision of small hubs of women coming together to pray and seek His face. I just said it to one of my wing people. Hey, we're going to have prayer pop-up. Are you up? Actually, I have several people who, but the one I said, are you up? And then one said, yes, mom, I'm up. I said, do you feel like praying? She said, yes, I feel like praying. And then I spoke to another, are you up? Will you assist me with this? And we continued. There will be a season when you will be another person's support. And I encourage you to be resilient and humble. And in your season, you will reap the seeds that you invested in others. So you need to know that person who you can call and speak and say, hey, I see myself in this place. Can you get me this? And can we do it together? The next person I have and the last person I have is a mentee. This is the person who comes along and says, I want you to teach me and I'm willing to go through the process. I want you to teach me, and I'm willing to go through the process. I have started saying recently, I have an assignment to teach you. You have a responsibility to find me and learn. I know my assignment. My assignment is not to make you learn. My assignment is to just teach you, to groom you, to mentor you if you come to me. Your responsibility is to seek me out or to seek that person out and find it. The mentee is not here to teach you. If you come to me for advice or you come to me for some sort of mentorship and you decide you want to teach me or you think you know more than me, well, you know what happens after. Hi, well, okay, we're done. However, if willing, the mentee can learn and be a better version of you. And that's my desire, that not just my mentees, the people who are listening to me, they become a better version of the content that I produce. You sow seeds of wisdom, patience, and intercession into the mentee. They are looking at how you handle conflict. They are waiting after a long day with many questions. They will be the continuation of your legacy and possibly the inheritor of your mantle, like Elisha to Elijah. Let's speak about words now because we're coming down to the end. Now that we've understood our communication and network, we've understood our next season, we've understood how to make our assessment of where we are at and where we're going, we have to understand the importance of the words that we speak when we communicate. Why is our word content so important? And why do we need to be mindful of it now so that when we get into the next season, we can speak and shift atmospheres? In the next season, the words that we speak will create. In the book of Genesis, we see the story of creation as God made the earth. He simply spoke and everything was set into being. In the next season, your words will set the foundation for the formation of your vision. In the next season, your words will set the foundation for the formation of your vision. As right now, as I speak and I refine, I adjust the lenses to the next. I am speaking things into that thing that I see so that I can lay a foundation for what I see. Yeah, it is and will be created as you say it. It will also be overcome as you say it. Do not speak words that kill. Speak words that create. Do not speak words that procrastinate. Speak words that create. Procrastination will just lead to delay and a deficiency in your next. I want to repeat that because I really sense this strongly. Procrastination will lead to delay. Listen, I'm going to put off doing that course. Okay. I'm going to put off doing those exercises to see where I'm at. Okay. I'm going to put off, reading that chapter. I'm going to put off writing that. Procrastination is going to lead to delay that will lead to a deficiency in the next season. If you do not speak words that create, I am going to meet 5 people today and tell them about the love of Jesus. I'm going to meet one person today and share the healing, share physical healing with them. I'm going to meet 3 people tomorrow and share my testimony of how God healed me from rejection. Those are words that create. Are you using words to kill the dreams that you feel? Are you using words to kill the dreams that you feel will not be manifested? That's something I was very, very famous for. Using words to kill the dreams that will not be manifested. I always said I liked speaking, but I could never have done it in front of a camera. I always said that. I always said I don't understand technology and I don't understand media until I really believed and I saw it and I started to do it. And now I say, hey, media is my thing. I love it. I love cameras. I love what I do. God may have called you to do something else. Don't speak words that kill it. Don't speak words that say, well, I can't cook. I can't knead flour. How can I make pastries and have a bakery and sell? Hey, say, I'm going to try it. I'm going to figure it out. It's going to happen. I don't have the details, but it's going to happen. Are you using words to bring warfare when all God is saying is worship? Are you using words to curse the process to the promotion? God is saying process and promotion, and you're just seeing promotion, so you're cursing the process. So guess what happens? You go into a cycle and you don't step into a season. You continue the process and you never get promoted. Okay, when we're speaking into our next, we need to speak words that shift. Have you ever noticed how well we can convince people to do something that they are not sure they wanted to do? Hi, my name is Marsha. Would you like to do this with me? We can convince people. We can sell. I can sell. Trust me. I came out of a corporate environment where I sold. And I did not need to I had reached a point where I did not even need to say, I would say, God, you gave me influence. You gave me this ability, and people would come to me. This happens in flea markets and sales where people just buy. You go with the intention of just buying one item and you come away with many items. The reason that you purchase is more likely than not because you heard the words of the salesperson, and guess what? Your decision shifted. You need to speak words that shift. You know what I started saying? I started saying, instead of saying I have an injury, I have a little challenge. And most days I don't even say anything. I don't even say anything. I just say, I'm going to do this. I choose to do this instead of this today. I don't make declarations, negative declarations, I can't do this. I would say I prefer to do this. And it's not because I'm lying, but it's because I'm speaking into my next. I am speaking into my next. Speak words that shift. We need to speak words that bring favor. The right choice of words can bring you into an audience with kings, and the wrong set can cause you to go to jail. The right set of words can bring you into an audience with kings. The wrong set can cause you to go to jail. You need to speak words that bring alignment. I've literally started speaking alignment to my body. Because I got some information recently, and I've literally started saying, cells, you will relax when we need to sleep. Mind, you will relax and we will have sound sleep. Stomach acid, you will stay at bay. Fingernails, you will grow. I have literally started speaking words. Spinal cord, you will align. Ligaments, you will align. And not just the alignment with our bodies, but with people. In the book of Ruth, you can examine Ruth's conversations and you will notice, look at it, you will notice that she spoke as a woman who knew what she wanted. Ruth wanted redemption. What do you want? You need to say the right words to bring the right alignment. She wanted to be free from that slum called Moab, and she wanted a change in scenery. She knew that she was created for more, and she spoke it into her destiny. She spoke shift into her next. Her next would have been remaining a widow and staying in Moab. Her next would have been going back home and I don't know doing what. Her next would have been, but she said, listen, I know my potential. I know my next is good. I know my next is wonderful. God says in Jeremiah, He knows your next and He has good plans. So I know my next is standing strong. I know my next is standing and doing those things. I know my next is perfect bill of health. I know my next. Speak words that bring alignment. I know my next is a group of high functioning professional women. I know my next is a group of empowered homemakers. I know my next is so many different things. I know my next. Speak words that bring alignment. This is your next. And the last thing I have in my with my passionate message today. Speak words that accelerate your prophetic vision. It's very important that you listen to the right prophetic voices and you speak the right prophetic words. It's also very important that you are a pure prophetic voice that speaks into your destiny. And in 1 Kings 41, we see the story with Elijah, and he sent a message to Ahab, and he says, go eat and drink, because there's going to be rain. Go away, there's going to be rain. And he said to his servant, go and look towards the sea. And he went up and he said, there's nothing. But Elisha knew that prophetic climate. He spoke prophetically into what he saw. He spoke the rain. Elisha knew what he saw, that, but he had to speak it into the atmosphere to cause a shift. Elisha knew what he saw, and he spoke it into the atmosphere to cause a shift. When you're speaking into your next, are you speaking what you are seeing? When you're speaking into your next, are you speaking what you are seeing? Perhaps if you would speak what you see instead of what you feel, then there would be a shift in your atmosphere and there would be an acceleration into your season. So I just want to encourage you, make that assessment. Know your next. Prepare for your next. Train for your next. And speak into your next season. Until my next video, until my next broadcast, this is Marsha Pedro saying, live your life with passion. Live your life in pursuit of it.